Please take a few minutes to watch this video so you understand how to use in-text citations. We weren't able to cover these in class, so I'm briefly going to cover these now. So what exactly are in-text citations? Well, from now on in this class, you will not use footnotes, so none of that junk at the bottom of your paper. Instead, you'll use in-text citations in which you put the author's last name or article title and page number where you found it inside parentheticals at the end of a sentence, but before the period. Remember, if you're using someone else's words or ideas, you have to cite it, and this is how you do it. So, let's say you're reading our textbook and you found out that important parts of Hinduism developed during the Vedic period. Here's how your citation would look. Now, pretend this is a part of your paper. Now, you said, Hinduism developed in part because of religious practices during the Vedic period. You're taking an idea from the book, and therefore you need to cite the book. The author of the book's last name is Stein, and you found this on page 55. Notice the author and page number were placed after the fact that you borrowed, but remember, this isn't a direct quotation. If it were a direct quotation, it would look like this. And you would put the parentheticals after the quotation mark, but before the period. Now let's say the article does not have an author. So after the word or idea, you abbreviate the article title. Pretend that this is a part of your paper that I currently have highlighted. You said, the Vedic period was important because it was responsible for the rise of Hinduism. The article in this case we got from the Encyclopedia Britannica, a resource I emailed you. The article title is put inside quotation marks, and then the parentheticals follow that with a period after. Notice there's no page number. That's because it's the internet. We don't have page numbers. Let's see if you can tell if this is right or wrong. This is what you read from your textbook. I've pulled this out directly from your textbook, and you can tell from the citation at the end from page 52. This is what you wrote in your paper. Is this correct? Yes or no? This is not correct, and why is that? Because if you'll notice that this part that I have highlighted comes directly from the text, and yet the entire thing is not in quotation marks. You'll notice only the hymn of creation is in quotation marks, and that's because it's the title of an important piece of work, and therefore it goes in quotation marks. But the rest of this was copy and pasted from the text, and there's no citation. Even if this were an idea you took from the text, you still did not cite that it was someone else's idea, and to do that, you need to write the author's last name, followed by the page number. And now still here, you would want to put quotation marks around this part because you took it exactly from the text. Now, this is correct. Is this right or wrong? Keep in mind, this is the part you pulled that is from the textbook, and this is what you wrote in your paper. Do you think this is cited correctly? And the answer is yes, because you were briefly summarizing in your paper what was written above, and you gave credit to the author. Good job. Now think about this. If you read this in the book, Brahmins conferred legitimacy by carrying out powerful sacrifices that ritually converted warriors into kings, and kings reciprocated with fees and gifts to the Brahmins. Now, without rewording or copying the above text, write a short paragraph, placing this quotation in context of our social mobility simulation while citing it properly. Pause this video and try to do this on your own. Okay, now that you've done this on your own, let's see if it was cited properly, and I've wrote one myself for you to see. I wrote, in the social mobility game, the priests would be known as the Brahmins during the Vedic times because the priests often helped lower classes join upper classes, just as the priests made warriors kings. Notice I've cited Stein, and I also put a comma and cited our social mobility game. You're able to cite two sources if you put a comma between the two sources. Now try this one. What you have read is this. Subjects of the Raja of later Vedic times and servants of the elite for whose protection he was selected, Praja, were divided into Shudra and Dasas. Dasas are described as unattractive and uncultured, with broad flat noses and black skin. Now, without rewording or copying, write a short description of the classes in later Vedic period, summarizing the information from this slide and the last slide. Pause the video and try this out. Now let's say you've done this, and I want to make sure that you've cited this correctly. In this case, the periods will represent your text. And remember that this is from Stein, so you need to say it's from him, and cite the source, the page number. Notice that both pages were 56, and so we only need to list page 56 once. Keep in mind that you might have two parts of information from the same page quoted in the exact same sentence, or you use the ideas in the same sentence, and that's okay. Just cite the page once, followed by a period. You also have the option of saying, Stein writes, then you include the idea, and then you only have to include the page number in the brackets. This time, because Stein is at the beginning of what you're saying, you do not need to include it in the parentheticals. Please feel free to email me with any questions that you have, and good luck.